To all you young men out there that are going through hard things, whether it's at home, within yourself, going through hard times with friends, family, whatever it is, I really encourage you to try to find a way to heal. I know it's not easy trying to tap into that part of yourself, but it's going to really change the trajectory of your life. And my guest on this episode is a perfect example of that. So stay tuned. Welcome to Grown Man Sessions. I'm your host, Timothy Rhyme. I have overcome addiction, incarceration, depression, and almost died. I learned a very important lesson along the way, and that's be good to yourself and be good to others because that's why we're here. And that's what this channel is all about: healing, growth, learning, and moving forward. We're going to be having some very difficult conversations with some very beautiful guests, and I hope you stick around to listen to their amazing stories. If you are on your own journey of transformation of growth, I congratulate you and I encourage you to keep going. Please hit the subscribe button so that we can stay connected and keep expanding this community. And thank you in advance for the love. But now let's get to the good stuff.
This is Jose Morales from Sacramento, California, and you're listening to the Grown Man Sessions.
What's up, you guys? This is Timothy Rhyme, and welcome back to Grown Man Sessions. And I keep telling you guys, man, the universe just keeps blessing us and blessing us and blessing us with more and more dope individuals to speak to. Last time I told you we were in New Zealand talking to a guy from New Zealand, and then we talked to somebody in Australia, and now I get to go back home. I may be in LA, but my heart is always in Sacramento. And my guest today is another Sacramento native. His name is Jose Morales. He's the founder and the CEO of the Jose Morales Boxing Academy, where they train amateurs, semi-pros, and pros, all in the same tight-knit family, just helping them get their mind, their body, and their spirit right. And yeah, man, he's going to share some of the insights that he imparts on his boxers with us today, and a little bit about his own story too. So what's up, Jose? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Thank you guys for having me, and I'm blessed to be here, and thank you guys for listening to the podcast.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I'm so grateful that I stumbled across your Instagram platform because I like boxing, like just in general. Like I follow professional boxing, but
Oh, really?
whenever I come across boxers that I hear that are from like Northern California, I always try to like tune in even more. So I was going through your Instagram and I was like, damn, man, this dude is dope, man. Like he's like inspiring people, like he's running a podcast, he's training, he's managing. Like I gotta talk to this guy, man. So
Let's go,
that's
man.
why I reached out to you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you for the compliment, man. Thank you.
For sure, man. So, like, tell me a little bit about yourself, bro. I know we kind of spoke up about it a little bit off camera, but tell me about how you came to be where you're at, man. Like, where you're from, a little bit about your background, and how you got to where you're at now.
Um, I was raised in Sacramento. I was raised pretty much all over Sacramento. I never really had a particular place that I stayed for a long period of time. I was brought to Sac at 11 months old from Guadalajara, Mexico. I was brought undocumented. I was raised here. I never knew really that I was undocumented until I was 12 years old, and I was filling out a sheet to compete for a boxing tournament, and part of one of the questions on there said, uh, "What's your social security number?" And that's when I found out, oh shit, I don't have one of those. My mom's like,
Oh, damn.
You don't have one." I was like, "What you mean I don't have one?" I didn't know what it was. I told my coach, "I don't have one of those." So from there on out, my life kind of just it kind of just definitely wasn't like your normal. I mean, it was never normal because I was raised by a single mother, so we had that single mother struggles. But my mother always provided for me. She always made sure we had a roof on our head and food on the table. I didn't see her ever. She worked three jobs. She took care of the business when we were kids, when my sister and I were kids. And then when I was 14 years old, I started working. I started working in the restaurant business because that's what my family um, did. So I was a dishwasher. I worked in the restaurant business. Um, I say 14, 15 years old. 15, I started doing janitorial work also. So I would go, I would wake up, run, go to school, go to boxing, and then at night I would do janitorial work. On the weekend, I would work at the restaurant. And that's how I did in high school. And then at 16 years old, dropped out of high school. I started teaching boxing. I was offered a job to teach boxing. I thought it
Mm.
was the best thing in the world. I thought I was making a lot of money. It was a lot of money for a 16-year-old, but definitely wasn't a lot of money to be raising a family with.
Right.
Um, and when I started doing that, um, I was competing, I was boxing, everything was great. Um, 4 years later, I decided to take my boxing more serious, and that's probably why I decided to stop coaching because I was like, imagine working at Taco Bell and eating Taco Bell every day. It was kind of taking the fun away from my boxing, and from there, I got into automotive. I was working on cars. Did not know nothing about cars. I did not know nothing. I didn't even have a license.
Yeah.
So the reason why I didn't have a license was because I didn't have a social, so I couldn't get a license.
Yeah.
And that caused me to have a roadblock to get a job. I really wanted to work on cars. Um, I begged myself for a job. It took me 3 weeks to find a job in the automotive repair facility. I found a shop in Roseville actually that took me in. Um, and I was a shop bitch. I tell everybody that's what I did. I did all the shit nobody wanted to do. I was fucking cleaning bathrooms, sweeping the shop, taking the tires off, busting tires, plugging tires, change, and then from there I was starting to learn how to um, do brakes, tune-ups, little by little. Got out of that. I worked there for like six months. Got an R&R job in South Sac. I was working on Martin Luther King and Full Ridge, and when I was
Hmm.
working there, I was working at a small shop doing R&R. The crazy part is what I tell everybody: everyone should, if you have a native tongue or some other language, you do not lose it. It's the
Yeah.
reason why. I was 20, no, I was 19 years old, 19, 20 years old around there. And the guy offered me a manager position because only because I spoke Spanish. And Franklin was on the other side of 99, and they had a lot of Mexicans in the area, and they
Right.
wanted somebody that spoke English and Spanish. Because of that, I was able to get a much better position at a shop. Uh,
Hmm.
and it just right there, it kind of escalated me. I mean, it turned me up to a whole nother level because I started learning the business side of things, and it was no longer just the R&R and the labor part. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And yeah, man. From there, I got into this. I was there for a few years. Got into the dealership world. I was a service manager at a dealership. I was making great money. I had a great hours. I worked. I mean, not great hours, but I worked Monday through Thursday, and I worked fucking 12. I literally worked from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. But it was Monday through Thursday, so I was like, I'm off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
Yeah.
and I did that. I had good money, but the 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 thing is, I something kept calling me that I need to be in boxing, and then that's how I ended up where I'm at now. I found my gym and kind of I skipped a lot of parts, but I don't want to sit here just blabbing it off on you. You said give me a quick little summary. My ass would not shut up. So uh, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. And now I'm doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah, man, that's amazing, bro. Like I think it's inspiring in itself just to hear, where you come from, like humble beginnings, undocumented, and then making your way. Because I'm sure, like you kind of briefly went over it, like just the struggle of being undocumented. That probably came with its own set of challenges, and then
Yeah, a
I'm
lot
sure,
of
like
them.
yeah, I'm sure there was other challenges along the way, and then like you steadily just trying to like figure things out for yourself. What do you think was like one of the hardest challenges that you did have to overcome, like in your younger years?
Uh, I had a lot of challenges, man, but I think one of the biggest ones that even to this day I have trauma for, and I literally be driving with my wife and kids, and I'll start crying out of nowhere. I'm dead serious, and I think what it is as a kid I was always alone. I had no. I mean, I had my mom. I had a family, but really, I felt like I didn't have a family because
Mm-hmm.
my father wasn't there. My mother was working, and my sister left the house when she was 14.
Mm.
So, and she's about 7 years older than me. So she left the house when I was 7, 8 years old, and I was always alone. So, and then when I went to places, I was always looked like that kid that was just annoying. No one really wanted to fuck with. No one really liked. So I really felt unloved, and I
Mm.
always had that void that no one liked me, no one cared for me. I remember myself as a kid going to bed at night with my. I used to, no joke. This is what I would do. I would get my mother's shirt, and then I'll get a picture of my mom, and I would hug both the picture of my mom and her shirt, and that was kind of my way to feel like she was there, but she wasn't there.
Mm.
And things like that. My whole life, just being alone like that, not being in, going to boxing, being there. Typically a lot of boxers are, their dad is there. Their dad is there to give them water. Their dad is there to wrap their hands. Their dad is there to. I had none of that.
Right.
So I at the time never realized that um, it was actually putting a toll on me.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
internally. I had a lot of pain. I had a lot of anger, and I had a lot of issues with myself
Right.
because of that. And if I had to say anything that was the toughest, I had a lot of other stuff that was really tough too. I mean, I'm just the reason why I picked that one is because that one it was a lifetime of pain that I deal with to this day. Like
Right.
I had other things that were tough, but they were tough for X amount of time. I found a solution or whatever, and it was dealt. It was dealt with. It was done. This was like lifetime trauma that fucked me,
Right.
and it was definitely um, a toll on me. So that's the one I would say it was.
Yeah, bro. I could relate, man. Like I was raised by a single mom too, and I definitely understand that idea of feeling lonely, bro. Like, and you're right, man. It's like I feel like for me, man, it's hard to kind of put into words sometimes, man, because like it's still something that I'm still trying to understand to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 40 years old, bro, and I'm still like not fully like comprehending everything about it. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah,
I
for
went, I
sure.
went, I went through my part. I went through my period of like trying to run, like trying to numb the pain with like drugs, alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Like anything I could find. And then like I finally got my stuff together, and it's like I just kind of acted like it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of like push it to the side. But the more I'm getting older, the more I'm realizing, man, that it never goes away, man. And you gotta eventually like face it and kind of try to heal it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one thing that I think helped me kind of come with peace with a lot of things. So I never knew anything about my dad. I never even have his picture. I knew nothing. What I knew is that he didn't like me and he abandoned me and he hated my family. I mean, that was a
Mm,
story I was told.
mm,
So growing up, I hated this motherfucker. I fucking couldn't stand him without ever
mm,
knowing him.
mm,
Um, when my youngest was born, and my mother telling me that my youngest looked a lot like him, and it drew an interest to get to know him and find out where he was. I just wanted a picture of him.
mm.
2 years of searching, I found my father after 2 years
Oh wow.
of looking. Yeah, and he's in Mexico, and he actually just passed away a couple months ago. But he was living in Mexico, and I got to talk to him for like a solid year on the phone, and getting to know him and his family, and getting to know a lot of like his story, and getting to know a lot about me that really the similarities, like just so many things, and it really brought peace to myself because uh, with a big part of me that had a big void, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it
Right.
was there, so that helped a lot for sure. But yeah, you definitely got to find a way to heal, man, and it can vary. I mean, it depends on the person and the situation and what they had to deal with.
Yeah.
But what I try to tell people is sometimes you have to accept what happened to you and assume that accident or incident or whatever it is that it was said sorry and apologized to you, even though it physically or possibly can never do that. But you
Mm-hmm.
have to you have to accept it as if it did, and move on with it, because the more we dwell on it, the more we're carrying all this pain with us on a daily basis that really all it's doing is hurting us. You know what I mean? There's nothing, we shouldn't be carrying this extra pain every day. So I mean, that's kind of my little tip that I can say that to people. But um it helped me. I kind of did similar things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, man, I agree, bro. And do you think that you turned to boxing like in a sense to try to like let out some of that anger or let out some of that frustration that you were feeling like at the time?
Yeah, man. So what happened really was my sister, who was 14 at the time, she got a boyfriend who had just graduated, so he was like 17, 18, and he introduced me to boxing. And
Mm,
when I was always a very physical kid, like I loved anything that had to do with hitting somebody or hitting something. I just enjoyed it. And that's part of the reason why a lot of my family members didn't like me over, because they thought I was like too rough or I had no manners. They just didn't understand that I had a lot of energy. You know what I mean?
right, right, right.
And so he put me in. He's actually the one who put me in all my sports. He put me in basketball. He put me in wrestling, and then eventually I started doing boxing. And when I started boxing, there was no stopping. I fucking loved it. I think what I loved about it so much was exactly that. I got to hit somebody, literally hit
Mm.
somebody, and it definitely was a good way to let a lot of anger out for sure.
That's what's up, man. Like, do you see a lot of similarities in some of the young boxers that you deal with now? Like some of the young men, like, do you feel like they're like turning to boxing for some similar reasons?
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
yeah. And not even young men, man. I mean, not even the kids. I see it in grown men. I see it in
Right.
50 year
Right.
olds. So
Right.
I have in the gym, I have no joke from like a 4 year old to a 7 year old. I have every walk of life in there, and I see it in 50 year olds, 6 year olds that never healed from traumas, never healed. And you know what they did, and is exactly what you said. They dealt with it with drugs, with
Hmm.
alcohol for so many years, but things like that are just band-aids. You know what I
It
mean? You
never goes
never
away.
heal. It
Yeah.
never goes away. It never goes away. Those are just band-aids until your drunk goes down or your high goes away.
Hmm. Yep.
And yeah, man. So for sure, healing from those things is the way to go from it, versus drinking away or something like that.
Yeah, man. I firmly believe that, as soon as I got sober and as soon as I started like really like understanding myself, just the world made a lot more sense, man. Like it wasn't as scary, it wasn't as like, negative as I thought. Like it was just like me just being mad, you know what I mean, at so many things. And then and as soon as I started realizing like why I was mad and like and all the things that like I thought were bad weren't all that bad, like just opportunities opened up for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I got back into school, like I started believing in myself and I could like, do this now. Like so I ended up graduating, I ended up going to college and like getting a degree, you know what I'm saying? Like all these things that I never thought were possible, you know what I'm saying? All because like I finally figured it out, man. I was like, all right, like I'm holding myself back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah, it's true. You are for sure.
Yeah, man. Um, I'm curious, bro. Like you deal with, like you said, man. All the way from little boys to like older, older men in their later years. So I'm sure you have like a really good like range of perspectives to pull from. But what would you consider a grown man? Like, because we call this grown man sessions, and so I just am curious, like what everybody thinks, what their definition would be.
A grown man for me is definitely not an age thing.
Right, right, right.
You could be 50 year old and you still not be a grown man. A grown man to me is somebody that's responsible,
Hmm.
and responsible means what a man does. And you can go back to like a biblical times and talk about what the Bible says about a man, but you should be able to take care of your family,
Hmm.
and and not just physically, but financially, emotionally, in whatever way that your family may need you.
Hmm.
That is an important aspect that a man should carry. As far as that, you should also be able to um, be independent. Not be dependent on your mother, your father, or your sibling, or your girlfriend. You know what I mean? If you're living off a girl, you're not a grown man. So I think those. As long as you have those qualities, it doesn't matter what age it comes. When you carry those qualities, that's when you're a grown man. So it doesn't matter if you're 17, because I feel like myself, I was very young as a grown man. Honestly, I mean, like I said, I was 14 already working. At 16, my mother lived with me. It was I, I that's why I mean, like, though, if you have those qualities, that's what makes a grown man.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think being independent is a huge one because um, it is very easy to get comfortable, like having somebody else take care of you, no matter what age you are. I think especially if you have kids, man, like teaching them what that looks like is really important. I have two kids myself, so like I take a lot of pride in like them being able to see me like that because just like you, man, I didn't know my dad. I still to this day don't know who my dad is, and I probably never will. So like to me, it's always been like a big deal to want to like be able to give that example to my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, man. You have boys, girls.
I have one daughter and I have one son. One is my daughter is 14 and my son is about to be 7. So
That's cool. That's cool, man.
yeah.
They're the same. It has the same age as my sister and I. For
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah, same exact. Yeah, I think this has like 6.5, 6 years and a half, but pretty similar to yours. That's cool,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
about
yeah, for
you?
sure. I have two boys. I have two boys. They're 8 and 4. So one is 8 years old. The other one's 4. Uh, they're off the chain. They're very different, but they're best friends. They fight and they make up, and they're they're brothers.
Yeah.
you know.
As boys, man.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's cool for sure.
Do you think that there's anything that like anything other than a sport that like somebody like a youngster that's going through like hard times that say like is going through some difficult stuff at home or is like feeling the peer pressure, maybe like other friends are getting into stuff that they shouldn't be getting into and they don't want to.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's other things that somebody could get into that isn't necessarily sports related that could help them like stay out of trouble?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I don't think sports is the only way. I mean,
Hmm.
it saved me through a sport, but honestly, it comes down to what draws your interest. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it's somebody that's vulnerable. Like, for example, how we were talking about us. Like me, when I was vulnerable is when I had nobody in my life, when I had no male figure, nobody, and I felt alone.
Hmm.
During that time, anyone that came in my life and showed me any sort of affection and any sort of attention was going to get my attention. And
Right,
when
right.
they got my attention, I would do whatever because now they got my attention. Um, and in this aspect, a lot of people get saved through sports because what gets their attention is what they see on TV, basketball, dunking, or boxing, or whatever it is that they see. And they
Yeah.
want to do that sport. And when they get to that sport, there's a coach there that mentors them. Um, but it doesn't mean that's the only way. I mean, if someone gets into painting and their teacher is a great mentor, and boom, or guitar lessons and their teacher's a great mentor, boom. So I don't think it's only sports is the only way you can be saved, because I mean there's endless of things out there that can do it. It just make sure you have the right mentor. That's what matters. Make sure the person that's there has good reason, good reasons for you, and they're trying to do the right thing. That's what matters.
Right, right. Yeah, and I think you talked about it. Like I saw it on your website, and I think I heard you mention it in one of your podcasts too about developing the right mindset. And I think whether you do it through a sport or whether you do it through something else, like I think mindset is such a big deal, man. Like being able to just kind of like have that discipline and that motivation within yourself to like be able to like get through the hard parts or to be able to like stay disciplined, man. Like how do you instill some of those like ideas of having the right mindset in some of the people that you work with?
Um, really depends on the person. What I try to
Yeah,
do is I get to know them first. I get
I
to know
see.
them and see, what where they're vulnerable at, and where I can connect with them. So that will vary. But to kind of sum it up, what I try to do is I start training their mind from the moment they walk in,
Mm,
on creating different habits. As far as I have
yeah.
them do a lot of stuff that has nothing really to do with boxing. I make them do uh, chores around the gym. I make them do checking in and out, like little things that's creating them, is creating for them a system, a structure, and discipline that
Mm,
once they learn that, they can carry that with them to whatever it is that they're doing. So that's kind of what I do. I mean, obviously, there's more to that, but that's kind of the foundation. And then from there, I branch off to depending on who the person is and what they need help with. Does that make sense?
for sure, bro. I think structure and discipline is like it's so important no matter what you do, man. And like
Hell yeah.
learning that at a young age is a game changer, bro. Because I wish I had a dad around when I was young, so I could have that. Because I see how valuable it is with my kids.
No, for sure, man. I feel like dads play such a big role, man. It goes so
Yeah,
underrated. I think the dad role is underrated because
I do too.
we don't bring the babies to the world, and we don't breastfeed them, and they feel like we are. I think we get overlooked, but we actually play a huge role, man. And
Yep.
and for sure, any kid needs a male in their life, especially their dad. You know.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the dads that are like, doing the work, man. Shout out to yourself and, like any of the dads listening that are actually putting in that work, man. Cause you're right, bro. Like, when I became a dad and I started going through it, like there was times where I was like, man, I don't know if I could do this. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I,
I
I,
feel
I
you,
was,
man.
I was so unsure. Like I didn't think that like I had like the experience or I didn't have the guidance to be able to be a good dad. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you kind of just figure it out.
Hell yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Yeah, man. I always ask this because like I feel like everybody gives me different answers, and I just love like the reflection I guess it causes for me is like what do you think is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned so far in your journey?
Um, the biggest lesson is just be a good person, man. Be a good person and do the right thing. Don't do things for money. Don't do things for clout. Don't do things to impress somebody else. Don't do things do things because it's coming from your heart and because you feel that in your heart. If you do that, everything else follows. I mean, everything else follows. You don't have to worry about a thing. Just do the right thing. That's probably the biggest lesson.
For sure, bro. Do you believe in energy?
I do. I'm very spiritual and I believe a lot in energy.
I
For sure.
I think that
You attract what you put out. I mean, if you're a thief and you're a nobody, you like doing fucking no good shit, you're gonna attract a whole bunch of people that do the same no good shit you do.
yeah. I'm
Um,
a big believer in that too. Like and like I always felt like karma like was a big player in my life, like whether it be good or bad. So like when I was doing bad, like the karma hit me quick. Like it was like undeniable, you know what I'm saying? Like I would do something like I wasn't supposed to, and then here would come the karma. But then I'd do something good, and then like the karma would come from that too. So like I had to start realizing like, man, like there's something tied here. Like there's some sort of like, action and reaction here, you know what I mean? So like
no,
I like what you
or
said, bro, about like if you do the right thing, like good things come. Like I swear it's true.
it, it's 100% true, man. 100% true. I luckily I've always tend to do the right thing. Like honestly, even as a kid, I was never a bad kid. I mean, I was never a bad person. I was never
Yeah,
like fucking doing crazy shit like that. That was never in my heart. And
yeah,
I think that's probably why I became very lucky to be put in a lot of great situations, is because I never really was out to do harm to people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man. And now you're doing that on an even bigger scale now, man. And I think that that's gonna have the same effect in your life. I
Yeah.
really do.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree for sure.
I mean, somebody like myself, man, that didn't know you, you know what I'm saying, like less than, a day ago, man. Now I know you, and it's like I feel like, your story in itself, man, is really inspiring, man. So I really appreciate you sharing it with me and with our audience, man. And you know, uh it's very cool, just being able to connect with random strangers and just having this mutual understanding about, like, being able to give back to the younger generation, man. So I appreciate you and your contribution to that process.
Oh no, thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me to be on. Thank you for being patient with me to schedule it because I know that was a little bit of a hassle. No, man. Thank you, man. I'm grateful for this, and I'm grateful for everyone that listens, and thank you for having me, man. For sure.
Right on, man. I appreciate it, brother. For those that want to get in touch with you, if they want to check out your podcast or your boxing academy, where can they reach you at?
You can go to josemorales.net, or you can check out the website for the gym, which is theboxingacademy.net. But my personal Instagram is probably the only social media platform that I use is El Rey de Sacra, LEL_REY_DE_Sacra, SACRA, the King of Sac in Spanish. That's probably the easiest way to get in contact with me.
Sacramento King, baby. You can see by all the jerseys in the background right there.
Yes, sir. I got a whole bunch of them, man. I got
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, man. I even got it tattooed on me.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the classic logo. That's when they were good.
yeah. That's why I got that one. um, I got this. I actually got it tattooed a long time ago too, but I got it tattooed probably around 12 years ago. Uh, but but yeah, for sure. That's when they weren't good 12 years ago, but this is the logo when they were good.
Yeah,
It's
man.
crazy how long they sucked for.
Yeah, man. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I think Fox and Sabonis is a good pairing.
Yeah. Uh, I tell everybody, I've had high hopes for the Kings for years. I don't even get excited no more.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get excited until they're in the playoffs. Like that's the
Yeah.
one day I'm finally gonna have show a little emotion because I'm tired of getting excited and then my heart's just getting crushed. So I don't even get
Yeah.
excited no more.
I feel you, bro. I know the feeling, man. I do.
Yeah.
I share the pain, man.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, yeah, man. I really do appreciate you sharing your story, bro. I think anybody listening and anybody that's paying attention, just if you got anything from this, just hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the comments. I always end this by saying that one person could change the world, but it's one person at a time, and that one person right now is you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a youngster and you're having a hard time, like at home or in the streets, consider boxing. You know what I'm saying? Consider a sport. Consider joining some sort of group where there is some sort of mentor, like Jose said, because we want to see you win, man, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people that want to see you win too, and
Yes.
if we could contribute to that, man, I guarantee you, man, like we would. So just reach out if you need to. That's what this platform here is for. Until the next time, man, tune into Grown Man Sessions. Take care of yourselves, fellas. Thank you, Jose, so much, man, and I wish you nothing but success with the Boxing Academy. You know what I'm saying? I
Thank
can't wait
you.
to see your fighters on the big stage, man, and I'll be there to support, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me.
All right,
Have a
man.
good night.
You
Thank you
too.
guys for listening.